Welcome to PUBG Playbook. In the previous 3 episodes, I have shown just a small portion of what it takes to be a successful PUBG team. Believe me, there's a lot left to uncover, but we have made our way from planning our jump, land and loot, fight our way through the wild rotations and chaotic hardships, and now we find ourselves with just a few enemy teams left remaining. Welcome to the endgame. In this episode, we're headed to the Grand Finals of the PUBG Championship, trying to find out what it takes to bring home the chicken dinner once you've made it to the final few circles. First, let's hop over to the final game of day number 1. FaZe Clan have played a rather quiet early and mid game and sit with 2 kills coming into circle 6. While they've had the benefit of not having to rotate too much during the first couple of circles, they now find themselves in a situation where the circle is shifted away from their position, forcing them to move up north. They have a split with 2 players on each side of the road and sit with 2 options available. But before looking into them, let's see the terrain of this endgame area. On the western side of the road, there are no buildings and only small hills, some ridges and a few trees to see cover behind. And on the east, there's a hill alongside a small compound on the northern side consisting of 2 small houses and a garage. Now, let's look at FaZe Clan's options. They know they have multiple teams on each side of the road, so taking fights will be inevitable. Option 1 is to play on the western side of the road, but doing so they will have to be fast. There's a fight going on over to the east, and whenever that has come to an end, the winning team of the fight will have a lot of vision towards the west. And should you still be fighting at that time, there's a big chance that they will try to third party you and shoot you in the back. Therefore, you would essentially have to clear out the entire western side of the road before that fight to the east is over, so you can prepare yourself for the fight to come. Option 2 is to move to the east. FaZe knows there's a fight going on in or around the compound, and knowing the terrain, they're aware that they can remain hidden from the western teams while pushing around the back of the hill towards the compound. Here they'll have to wait for the right moment and set up a third-party engagement themselves once the fight starts escalating. If done so properly, they, as a result, will become that team to the east that they would have feared had they gone with option 1. And that's exactly what they do. Once TSM and Genesis starts fighting, they sneak up from behind, and with great timing they manage to clear out the entire eastern side of the road. Afterwards, they start focusing towards the west. Knowing the teams will have little cover, they spread out to take more control and get better angles on their opponents. That in the end allows them to push across the road and take out the final team, earning themselves their first chicken dinner of the Grand Finals. Now, let's hop over and take a look at our PUBG Global Championship champions, Gen.G. Wait, that's too far. Let's rewind, because I want to take a look at the first game of the Grand Finals. That's better. While a lot of very interesting shifts took place during the early and mid game, causing a hell of a lot of chaos, what I want to look at is, well, you guessed it, the end game. As Circle 6 is about to be revealed, Genji has just finished clearing their eastern side and now know pretty much where all their remaining opponents are. One team is on the western hill, and they have opponents out in the shacks in the field too. Just like with FaZe, the circle shifts away from them, forcing them to move out of their compound and into open terrain, and this is where they realize something. They need to get inside the circle before the team by the shacks to the north do. If they get beat to the circle, Ensis Ace can sit comfortably inside the circle and hold them out, resulting in the defeat of Gen.G. So, in order to avoid this, Gen.G must push towards the circle. But how? What they do is that they don't all move at once. Only one player at the time pushes towards the open terrain while the remaining teammates provide suppressing fire. Once that player has then reached the circle and with some smokes thrown is able to use his vehicle for cover, the next player can start moving forward. Once all the players are around the circle, they successfully hold off Ensis Ace. This allows for them to spread out and take more control of the circle, the exact opposite of what Genesis does. They had opportunities to spread out earlier, but Genesis prioritized their position on the far western side of the circle, and while remaining here seemed like the safe option while the enemy teams were fighting out east, what once worked as cover ended up becoming obstacles for them. The fact that they never reposition or spread out out more to get better angles allows for Gen.G to always know exactly where they are and then move accordingly. So what possibly could and should have been a Genesis win ends up with them all being pinned down behind a few trees on the edge of the circle. As the match comes to an end, Gen.G takes home the first chicken dinner of the Grand Finals, which was to be followed by one more in the very next game.
Back to back! GG Genji!
So while early circles surely went in their favor, it was their proactiveness and their great playing in the end game that granted them the win. Surely you can be fortunate to have circles land on you throughout the game, but that's never a guarantee that you'll win. The cover that you're sitting behind can end up working against you, and sneaky snakes can always bite when you expect it the least. Therefore, always look for a way to take control of the endgame circles whenever possible and claim that juicy chicken dinner. From start to finish, we've shown you important things to look for in a competitive PUBG match, and we could not have done it without the help from the elite teams at the PUBG Global Championship. With that said, we've only skimmed the surface of what's possible. I'm Toby, and thanks for watching PUBG Playbook.